Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm live here on DFWRadio.com. You are tuned into the Zamir Watson Show, and I'm your host, always doing the most. And today I got my girl back on the line, author Jade Greene. What's up?
Hey Zamir, how are you?
I'm good, running late, but good.
So we've both gone through our crazy literary journey, and it's crazy that we're both now published authors.
I know, right? We were just talking about this a few months back. Well, yeah, I remember you was telling me a little bit about it back in April, I believe, but we didn't go deep into detail about it because it wasn't released. But if you could just remind people what was the title of the book and the subject matter.
Yeah, so the book is called Disorderly Conduct, College Edition. It is about a 22-year-old beauty queen who goes through college. She is, other than smoking and drinking like a typical college student that age, otherwise she's a pretty normal student. She goes through college, but at the same time she's at that age where love and sex are really big themes in her life. And the book genre is a satirical erotica, and I went with that because when I started writing the book 5 years ago, I had no idea where I was going with it.
Right.
And I realized I wanted her to swear and to be a flawed person and to not be a typical, romance is a very streamlined genre where the protagonists, especially females, are just like these perfect little societal flowers, and that's not my protagonist. Sorry.
Right. Well, no, that's actually that is different because, like you were saying a few minutes ago, that typically in that genre, it's always this happy ending. The protagonist is always perfect. They do nothing wrong. They have no flaws. And I think I noticed in the last 5 to 10 years when it comes to fiction, a lot of people do tend to gravitate toward things that are more realistic and relatable. Which, don't get me wrong, I think, the perfect stories, is kind of an escape for most people, but a lot of people like a lot of realism. And I think when you told me about this back in April, briefly, I thought it was an interesting concept because it's not something that you're used to, and it can make you stand out more so than some of the other books of that genre.
Yeah, and even within my own genre, a lot of people know 50 Shades of Grey is kind of the gold standard of a very submissive and sweet protagonist. And as I said, my protagonist, she has her moments. And I mean, as I said, I made this relatable to people who look back on that age and think wow, I was so immature and stupid. It's hilarious to look back on, but it is meant to show she has consequences for her actions. She does not win every scene. She does not, she doesn't always end up with the guy. And that's kind of the exciting part about Ari's story, is that it's unpredictable. And my beta readers, they were really hyping that up, saying she breaks so many tropes, and she's Latina, she's a brown girl, she's queer, she smokes, but then she's also really intelligent and community oriented and gets good grades and volunteers.
Right, and that's another thing too I noticed that I remember from the last time about your book is that it's extremely inclusive among so many different groups of people. Just like you said, different the Hispanic community, LGBTQ, and it touches on so many different aspects of people in society that you don't normally see reflected in media. And I know that's another thing too I think we talked about at that time was in the last probably 10 years, diversity and inclusion is starting to become more common in entertainment, which it should have always been, but we know that story. But even more so now because you have a lot more writers who are people of color getting behind the scenes, writing these stories, or and bringing them to life to reflect every experience in society, not just one particular experience that we've seen, a billion times in books, movies, and television.
Yeah, yeah, and I mean, for my protagonist, Ari, it feels like she's my kid because I've just spent so long creating her. Um, she is a brown girl that does occasionally win, and I do like including that because we need more stories of people who are not necessarily like the cookie cutter picture of success winning
Right.
sometimes, because we do. And that's the nice thing about her, is that she still has her up moments too, and like we have all been there. I don't care what your hobbies are or your profession is, where things just go right and you're feeling good, you're feeling yourself, you're like, okay, like how can I celebrate in my own special way, whether that be like with friends or with food or with outdoor activities or with a drink. Like that's her vibe when she's on the high.
Right, but and that's good too that you're doing that, because, like I said, people don't realize, and we talked about this a million times on here too, um, about how important representation is and what it can do for people, no matter what age. And it's important, especially in a time like this now, where there's so much going on in the world. We need positivity from every aspect as we can, and things like books, movies, and music, they can help people aspire to be their best by what they see and hear, in the world around them. And as artists, like how we do, that's what we do best, is try to make people. Well, we do help them escape, but we also inspire them, we inform them, and make them better citizens to make this world a better place. And even what you're doing, even though it's entertainment, I mean, this book can help people escape, not only what's going on in the world, but also be like a self-reflection in their own life. Like it could help them be like, okay, well, Ari, she's not perfect. She does this, even though it's a fictional character. Um, it'll help them look at their lives like, oh, well, I'm just like Ari. I can do X, Y, Z. I mean, you just never know. Certain things touch people in different ways.
Yeah, and it's weird too looking back, because as you said, it's like there's some escapism. So like Ari does, she gets drunk. Like, hello, she's 21, the age of drinking. So
right, and who don't want to
I'm
escape with
31
some
now. And
right.
looking back on that, I'm just thinking to myself, like, I hope this story inspires younger people to like not make some of the same mistakes she did, but also make people our age, like millennials, look back with joy and be like, oh my god, that was so fun but stupid. We did those things.
Right. Yeah, and then too, I think the subject matter you're tackling too is because she is a college student, that could tap into a whole nother audience that that normally wouldn't read that genre, read it because it's talking about the college experience. That's another thing, that's something that's relatable to so many people of so many backgrounds, because we all have been there with college, with the partying, the drinking. I mean, I miss those times, but sometimes I'm glad I'm not a college student no more.
Same. Well, and I actually brought this up to a friend. I'm like, would I go back to Ari's age and do a bunch of the stuff? Like, probably not. Like, but it's funny, like, drawing from my own experience, because it is fiction. And I mean, she's inspired by some of the experiences where it's like, one example is somebody getting sick in my car on the side of the highway. And it's
right.
like I shouldn't have even volunteered to like DD like that night.
Right, because I mean, I do miss like the part of college I miss. I do miss having fun, like the partying and all of that, because I met a lot of people on campus that I'm still friends with to this day. But the part I don't miss is working full time, going to school full time, paying bills. It was that part was the part I really don't miss too much, because I feel like school was like a full-time job within itself. But I mean, yeah, the overall experience, I did enjoy it for the most part. But stuff like what you talked about in your book, it is relatable to so many people, because I think we all can relate to being um, you know, when you a college student, you got so many challenges ahead of you. For one, you have the number one challenge of keeping your grades up and making yourself look good on paper. So when you graduate, you can find a dream job you want. And then you also challenge for those also who work and go to school, trying to practice money management, just different financial strategies to avoid being in debt. Although most college students are usually in debt when they finish. But I mean, it's those challenges is all that you always have to face from every angle when you're a college student. More so when you're in high school, because when you're a college student, you're basically an adult now, so you pretty much you on your own. Nobody's telling you to do anything like you were in high school. So it's a variety of challenges I think a lot of college kids can relate to with this book. And then also just the self-identity thing, just being someone who is a part of LGBTQ. They may have so many other challenges they have to deal with by, camouflaging in society. So I think your book will hit a lot of notes.
Yeah, and even for people like who don't go to college, or like they go to community college without dorms, it's like still that age, I don't care like what job you have. Again, it's like the legal age of drinking. And in the United States, as you know, it's like people almost expect at that age that you party, whether that be just like going to parties where alcohol is present or actually drinking, like that being 21 in the United States.
Right. No, that's true. I mean, people say all the time, like, something like if it's a car accident or something on the side of the road or something crazy going on, oh, we're just some old 20-some-year-old kids doing this, blah, 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 drinking, smoking, all this stuff. So, yeah, it's kind of expected because it's happened so many times with that age group. But like you said, not every 21-year-old is like that. I know, like I said, I had fun and stuff, but I didn't get out. I didn't get out of control with it though. Like I didn't drive drunk. I
never did that.
Right.
But I was DZ a lot for my friends because I smoked. As you know, like I just quit smoking cigarettes again. I'm like trying so hard. And that's the difference between me and younger me, is that younger me would have been like, I don't care about my health, and now it's like, oh my god. Like,
I know, right?
I cared so much about it. But that too, it's like, there's still consequences to smoking. It's not like that's any better than drinking. I mean, it's like, that's the overall theme really of disorderly conduct, is that instead of her seeking like necessarily like lifelong romance, she's just seeking a good time. Like she's seeking hedonism, but which isn't always the best thing to do. So as I said, there are consequences in the book to her actions.
Right. I mean, because and unfortunately, that's the dark part of that experience, that you do have people that that take it too far. They don't really know how to have fun with it instead of just doing too much. Because like I said, when I was in college, I did drink and party and all that stuff, but I didn't get so out of control with it where, for one, it messed up my grades. I harmed somebody in the process because I was intoxicated or anything like that. And we had fun because and in me, I've been hit by a drunk driver before too, so I would never do something like that. And even though, don't judge me out, even if I do go out with some of my friends and I do drink, I usually have about one or two, and I leave it at that. Not that I can't handle more than that, but I don't want to take a chance of potentially, doing something on accident.
God. Nowadays, like one drink will get me drunk. Like
oh God, I can't resist. Damn. Oh.
Man, I used to be a tank when I was 21. I could like handle 5 beers, and I'm small, and like now it's like drink one and I'm sick the next.
Well, look, it's funny though, because my alcohol tolerance has increased for some reason. I don't know if it's because I work out or whatever, but like it was already high back in my 20s. Because I remember my friends used to crack jokes about me like, oh, Zamir, he about to, knock him back, and I did. But the good thing was when I did then, I had a DD. So I didn't have to worry about, driving myself and nothing like that. And then sometimes too, back home, I threw a lot of house parties, or some of my friends would have parties, and if we all got too plastered, we would just spend the night. But But now, like, I've noticed my alcohol tolerance got high. Cause like when I go out with some of my friends and we have like, go out to eat steak or just fish or anything in general. I have like 4 or 5 glasses of wine before I look up. I'm like, damn, did I really get that many glasses? And I didn't notice it, but it's just because it don't really hit me. But now, unless I don't eat anything like on Thanksgiving, oh my God, I didn't really eat much on Thanksgiving, and I had like 5 glasses of Merlot, and then I had 2 glasses of Japanese whiskey. Destroyed. I was before I knew it, I was asleep on the floor, and I'm like, what in the world? But any other time, if I eat something, I'm good. But yeah, my alcohol tolerance, you would think that since I'm getting closer to 40, it would decrease, but it's gotten higher for some reason.
Oh my God. Yeah, probably because you do work out so much. I mean, I know when I do full marathons for fun, like once or twice a year. And like, it's funny because you're right. Like I notice when I'm like in peak shape for the year, like I can take down a few more drinks than I was able to, but I don't know if that's like some fitness inspiration for people to get day.
Right. Well, not that I would encourage that with anybody, but and then like on my birthday, I had this big giant margarita that I drank, and I'm just like, which was like technically about 20 margaritas in one glass, but yeah, I mean my alcohol tolerance has gotten higher as I got older, which I'm not complaining about too much because sometimes I need that drink. Dealing with some of the stuff I be dealing with, working so much. But
yeah,
but all of those experiences, what you're talking about, I think would really stand out. And then also with your book, because I know it just came out. Was it last week or a week before last?
The audiobook and the ebook came out in June.
Oh, in June.
And then, as you know, it just took so long to get the print book, which will be available once I approve it, and I will definitely announce that soon. Probably here within the next 2 weeks, it will be on Amazon and Barnes and Noble.
Okay. So are you excited about it? Because I know I was when mine came out in June. Like it is surreal still that I knew it was gonna happen, but it was just the fact that, oh my God, like my book is out there for the world to get, and a lot of people across the country and overseas have been inboxing me and stuff on Twitter and tell me about what they thought about it and all that stuff, which I told them to leave a review on Barnes and Noble and Amazon. But it's just crazy because and actually that's why I was running late today too because for some because for some crazy reason I normally don't stay up. Well, on the weekends I do kind of stay up late sometimes, if family or something in town or if I go out of town. But last night I was here it was kind of gloomy and it rained in Dallas. So I was, when I got home, I kind of took like a little power nap and I got up and started watching TV and then started typing and drawing. And before I knew it, I'm like, it is 3:31. Let me take my ass to bed. Like I didn't realize that much time had flew by like that. And so this morning I had to get up to literally almost an hour before I was supposed to come up here. And the struggle's a little real, but yeah, because I'm working on stuff for next year to put out because I'm really trying to. My goal, like it was this year for next year, is to really try to help people escape more than anything. Because at first, like I was gonna write stuff about metaphorically, like regarding COVID, just everything that's going on in the world today in the wrong way. I was gonna write about it and draw about it metaphorically, but I felt like, you know what? Let me just change the tune. I think right now we have enough people that's doing it in entertainment. Let me help people escape and think about something else to take their mind off of all of that stuff, and then try to create something where it could bring people who normally wouldn't come together, bring them together.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. I think that's so cool that we're both doing series because that seems to be the best way to get your work out there, just because people love something new. So it's cool for them to be able to pick up, your second book or your third book or fourth or whatever, like to stay entertained and engaged in your brand. I know for me, like one of the most shocking parts of this is how much time it took. And my second book took less time to write, literally, but I have a feeling like it's still going to take a decent amount to get the print book. And a lot of people don't realize, as you know, because you've gone through the whole process, that
Right.
it is so much work. I mean, if you love it, you can definitely do it, but
Right.
like, you really have to put your all into it when you have the time to, because that's the only way to get it done. Like, between the, writing, proofreading, editing, cover design, formatting, taking it to retailers, figuring out your copyrights, and like, there's a lot more than just like writing
Right.
and editing the book,
And
as you know.
Right, and I tell people like who are interested in writing the book about the process, like, it's like you're saying, if you're passionate about it, it is a fun process, but it's also it can be a difficult and challenging process at times because it's so much to go into printing a book. I mean, like you were saying, you have to make sure it's edited right, copyright issues, because you don't want about potential trying to come and sue you thinking you stole their title or idea or anything like that.
Yeah,
and then
ISBN.
Right, and then your ISBN number, you got to get that registered. Then you also have to
Yep.
like the different retailers, like Amazon, Barnes and Noble, Books A Million, all these different retailers. And then, like in my situation, I had a book tour originally set up for starting off April 27th that was supposed to run to October 29th. Well, I postponed it because at the time, the monkeypox, 3 of the states that I was supposed to go to had declared a state of emergency with the monkeypox, which I was mad about because I'm like, dang, I was like, we were just starting to get used to the COVID cases kind of, going down, and then here comes something else. So New York, California, Illinois were 3 of the states that I was supposed to go to that I decided to postpone the whole thing. So I've been in contact with all of them since then to try to see, like, do they have any other dates available? I can come to the Barnes and Noble and sign books and stuff. And that has been a challenge because they don't, like, whatever they schedule at that time is set in stone for that moment because they have so many other events throughout the year. And like right now, when I spoke to them, I think it was last week, they were saying all of their events at some of the Barnes and Noble so far have been pretty much booked for the rest of the year. So it would have to probably be after or the first part of 2023 before I can set up anything. Well, by that time, my other book will be out by then. So I figure, you know what I'm probably going to do is cancel the book tour for this one. And the second one, just do it for that.
Yeah, I don't know how you did that so fast because, like, I've been looking at book touring and it's just so much logistics and I want to do it. Like, I think once I'm done with book 2, I'll probably go on my first book tour because it's a great way to connect with audiences.
Right.
And, like, that was one thing that you really inspired me with. And it's like, man, like, I need to find a way to connect with people all over the country because I already have beta readers and then now readers who have been ordering my books on my website because the audiobooks and ebook are available on there on disorderlypublishing.com.
Right.
And yeah, I love book tours. I think, it's not like authors get the same like red carpet treatment as like people that get, like top actors at the Oscars.
Well, no, I ain't gonna say that.
The Grammys.
Well, no, sometimes they do. It depends. Like, they don't obviously get they don't get the camera treatment, I guess, in that sense, like you're saying. But some of them, they do get that treatment similar because, like, you look at J.K. Rowling, Stephen King, which of course they are much more well known. But if they have a new book come out,
that's true, when they become screenplays.
Right, they'll they do get the treatment where they come in stores and people have certain layouts made just specifically for them. But yeah, and that's one of the reasons why I wanted to do a book tour. Well, I'm a people person anyway, so I wanted to do it to connect with so many people, and a lot of them kept asking before I even put the tour together back, this early part of the summer. It was like, well, hey, why don't you do a tour and come to this city? And I was like, you know what? I think I'm gonna do that. So I got in contact with different retailers about setting up tours across the country, and I was able to target 10 of them that I wanted to do. Because at first I was gonna do 20, but I was like, no, I'm just gonna do 10 because I know in my schedule sometimes I'll get like I have stuff pop up and I won't be able to go. So um, I set up for 10 cities, and then people overseas were trying to get me to come over there, which I'm eventually do here soon. Not right now, probably maybe in late 2023 or early 2024, I may go overseas. But it is a good way to connect with readers because social media for me has been an excellent marketing tool because my followers on Twitter are the best. What's up, y'all? All my Twitter followers, and then
Yeah.
because I love Twitter because like they all, I mean, when I say they have been some of my biggest supporters, I mean they done send me messages about what they thought about the book, they bought it and all this stuff, and looking forward to other stuff. Um, and then my, my friends and family, obviously on in general, but on social media platforms too. But it doing book tours also get your name out there more too in regards to your book. Because like if you do yours, like when you get ready to do it at Barnes and Noble, um, first of all, having Barnes and Noble attach to your stuff is like the best thing since sliced bread. I mean that right there can solidify you as one of the best because people are familiar with Barnes and Noble. They get your book out of there. Word of mouth still is the number one marketing tool. All it takes is that one person like, hey, did you get that book by Jade Greene? Yeah, I like it. Da-da-da. And before you know it, you got copies going like that. So that was another reason why I wanted to do it too, was to get more copies. Because right now it's doing good, but it can always be better by exposing yourself more. Because I haven't got the chance to do it too much. Also too, because like I said, sometimes my schedule gets so busy and so wrapped up. That's why I try to promote as much as I can on social media. And it's doing real good. So I mean, I have no complaints, but it's just, I want to be better because I'm trying to reach an Oprah status.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I mean, and for me, like, our genres are so different because, like, yours is nonfiction, whereas mine is fiction. And so that at least gives me, like, a unique freedom in that, like, I was going to do a launch party before up here, but due to COVID and my book being so delayed, I mean, I was literally supposed to get it a month ago. And it's, due to just, like, mail being slow / everything going on in the world. But my publisher did a great job. My distributor, printer, they did do an awesome job putting it together, creating what I consider my life masterpiece that I've poured my soul into. Just because it's so humorous and quirky and different as an erotica. I'm probably going to do a launch party, but not up here, and probably for the second book, since that will officially kind of kick it off as a series. And as you know, I plan on doing 5 books in total.
right.
I might add a 6, like random RE tales of just things that are just funny conversations or different situations Ari was put in that just didn't really tie into the actual stories themselves. But yeah, it's, you know how it is. It's such a unique and individual journey. I mean, especially for some authors too, there's so many different approaches. I know people in my space that write very short stories, and I'm sure in your space too, people write articles instead. And there's so many different ways to be a writer and an author. But as like a big bookworm, it's so cool having like a print copy of your own book.
Right, and that's the crazy part about it, is like to hold something that has your name on it that's being distributed across the world. It's kind of like, dang, I really did that. And then too, what I'm doing now, because like I'm working on 2 books right now, which is why part of the reason why I was up so late. Illustrating and drawing, like I'm starting a comic book series too on top of that. So I'm trying to do all this stuff by 2023, which I'm getting close to where I want to be as far as like the finished product. But so yeah, and then too, like you were saying, the first book I was excited about it, but I'm disappointed too because, like I said, because of the events of the world, it messed up everything. Because COVID, I was supposed to do a book release party for my family and friends here in Dallas back in July, but I ended up canceling it because a few of them actually caught COVID. Of course, everybody wasn't really comfortable with doing it like that, so I said, I'll just cancel it, and I'll just send everybody a gift bag showing appreciation. Because basically what I was going to do was at the launch party, I was going to do a PowerPoint presentation with my family, you know, with them, and then give them each a copy of the book myself in person that was signed, you know, with a gift bag with some other little sentimental stuff. But, you know, and even though I didn't do it in July, you know, like you were saying too, with the second book, I do plan to do it. But I'm just working on how I'm going to do it in the event that something may pop up, like another COVID situation or monkeypox. Figure out how we can do it without that. But even if we can't, my family know I appreciate them, and my friends do too. So they know I'll always send them a copy of the book, even though I would like to do it where everybody can join and sit down and have fun, and of course, you know, have a couple of drinks. but yeah, I'll sort all that later. But yeah, but like you were saying, the process, I enjoy the process, which is why I think I don't get really frustrated with it. Like, it is challenging sometimes because you have to go through so much stuff just to get it published. But I do enjoy it because I feel like I'm finally at a place in life where I'm doing what I love, and that's a good feeling.
Yeah, congratulations. We're both authors now.
I know, that's crazy.
That's insane.
It really is, because I mean, to think,
you know,
this was something I was trying to do 2 years ago.
You have to come to my launch party. Like, you have to. Like, this is my public invite to you, Zamir. You must come to my launch party.
Yes, I'm definitely coming. Yeah, just let me know
in Miami.
Oh, yes, please, let me know the date. And I'll definitely go make arrangements to come.
Hell yes.
because and that's what I really wanted to do, because I really wanted to do it where my family and friends could come, because I wanted to do it all in one big setting where I can give everybody a copy of the book, you know, and talk a little bit about them, because it was going to be a little long. I mean, it was probably, I would say maybe 2 hours max. And the only reason why is because, I would acknowledge my family publicly since it's a smaller group, but my friends, I wanted to be there too, because I was going to do a PowerPoint presentation where it shows everybody's face up there, because everybody that I was going to invite to the launch party was everybody I included in the back of the book, including you too. Like, I have all of y'all in the back of my tribute section of the book, you know, thanking y'all for always being like my biggest supporters, and always, you know, being, you know, real and not, you know, putting me down or kicking me when I was down or anything like that. So that's why I was a little disappointed with the COVID situation, because with this being like one of my big defining moments, crossing over into a bigger or on another level, it was just sentimental for me, because all these people that I listed were people who was with me when none of this stuff was even happening. So that's why I wanted to have a big gathering, and it was more of a thank you versus a launch party for my book.
Yeah, mine, see, it's funny, again, this is a total difference in genre, because erotica is for the adult crowd, and I'm so lucky. Like, my family does know about this, but they're also like, you know, we understand if you kind of want us to like back off on this stuff from afar.
They was like, this is not PG-13, but we'll go ahead and we'll take it. Now, well, hold up, but don't.
Really encouraging.
But don't get it.
Really encouraging about it, but of course at the same time they're like, you know, since your parties are a little bit more like adult themed, because I do like, I'm going all out. Like, my first one, I was supposed to have dancers, so you better bet in Miami there will be at least 1 or 2 dancers.
They gonna be the turn up is gonna be real, I see. Yeah, but don't get it twisted though, because that's what I plan on doing too. Because like the next books that I'll like, the written books will be more like motivational, you know, health and fitness books. Because I'm writing another. It's actually gonna be a nutrition book.
You're like the good cop, and I'm like the bad cop.
Well, no, I'm about to be the bad cop a little bit in a sense, because I'm writing a nutrition book. I'm writing a book on nutrition. That's the one that's coming out on January 2nd. But the other one will be like a motivational book. And then the comic book I was illustrating. Originally, I was trying to publish it for kids to get them to read more, but children don't really read as much these days like they did maybe 15, 20 years ago. So I noticed the adult
Yeah.
market is picking up in terms of like, superhero stuff. And then like even like with the Boondocks, like you got more adult animation and stuff like that starting to really take off and is making a lot of money. Because when you think about it, the adults have the money. The kids got to ask, oh, well, can I get this? So the comic book I have been telling you I've been drawing and writing about is an adult themed comic book, and I base it on the city of Dallas. So it'll be nudity,
That's so
profanity.
cool.
Yeah, it would be nudity, profanity, sexual situations, graphic violence, all of it.
Yes.
All of it. Because I do like that kind of stuff too. Because like when I look at like, I don't know if you know the TV show The Boys. Have you seen that?
Yeah.
Oh, so you know what I'm talking. Okay, so it'll be kind of like that and a mix of, it'll be like a mix of something like the Avengers, but it'd be more like The Boys. But I wanted to touch
It's
on
like a sexy cowboy bebop.
right. So I wanted to touch on a different audience that is being served more of the adult market. People like my age and older who grew up on this stuff, but like the more mature themes. So I'll be targeting that audience too, and it's definitely a need for it because I look at the sales for some of them on Amazon and Barnes and Noble is through the roof. So those are my next little things. That's what I've been working on. I've been, cause like some of my friends are like, I haven't seen you posting on social media today. I'm like, that's cause I've been busy doing something. That's why.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's a really big market. Like, if you saw Lore Olympus is borderline on that genre, like, not quite, it's romantic, but it's definitely kind of racy for a romantic cartoon. But,
Right.
like, it's blown up. Like, people love that kind of content. Especially adults who are bored and want a healthy hobby, aside from actually doing anything
Right.
too harmful. They can just read about certain things.
Yeah, because even my professor was like, Zamir, because like he was like, you should draw something pertaining to like, because like the Boondocks and Family Guy and The Simpsons, all those like adult themed shows that are really really popular and still doing really good. He was saying, why don't you draw, illustrate, and do something like that? He was like, these kids these days don't read. And I laugh. I mean, it's not funny, but it is funny because it's true. But I was like, you know what? Maybe I should do that. So I decided to take that approach. And he kind of got mad at me because he was like, I was hoping you would tackle some of the political and social issues of today. And honestly, I really started to. I really did. But then when I looked at everything, I didn't want to be booked in the same category as somebody who did something similar. They'd be like, oh, we seen this before. He did, and he doing the same thing, such and such doing. Even though I had some good ideas in a different way than what someone was doing, I also wanted to do something that was different in a sense where it wasn't pertaining to any political or social issues. Because, and I get it sometimes. Some people are fatigued with all the political and social content they see on social media, and because even I'm gonna keep it real. Like I was the biggest political and social junkie, period. But ever since election 2020, I haven't really even watched. I haven't looked at the news really at all, or even looked at politics, because I think I just got so exhausted with everything that was going on, and I mean I still am. I mean I still pay attention, but I just feel like it's. But my professor was like, well, Zamir, you an artist. And back in college, I did do a lot of political art. And he was like, it's our job to, express ourselves. And he was like, art either is going to inspire or, insult, blah, blah, blah. I was like, I get that, but I don't want to, I want to use my art for a good reason. So.
Well, and what's funny, too, is that, like, there is, even with my very odd subgenre of satirical erotica, like there's still political lessons that can be taken away. I mean,
right.
Ari's story does include, like, as much as she does love the status that comes along with being a beauty queen, it comes with, consequences. She is very insecure about her appearance because she's put under a microscope. She is insecure about her intellect because that's examined really closely by that community. And what results is that she's socially awkward. So she'll not to spoil anything, but like to get what she wants, she'll kind of be a little bit of an opportunist to the guys she's courting or who are courting her and be like, yeah, like, I'm Miss Delaware. And, unfortunately, yes, some guys are good dudes and won't take advantage of that, but other guys are really shallow and will only want a chick because she's hot or, has status. Women can be the same way, but
right.
From my protagonist perspective as, like, a beauty queen and model in the book, she goes through that transformation too, is unfortunately by being so verbose about it and bragging about it, she ends up, along with the treasures that she attracts and mermen and mermaids, she unfortunately attracts some sharks and some snakes and not the best people.
Right. Yeah, because I mean, a lot of not my professors, but a lot of other people too was telling me that I should get. Well, I ain't gonna say they told me to get political, but they were saying that I had some good ideas that I could use as metaphors in society about politics and social issues and just what's going on in the state of the world. And I do kind of want to touch on them, but I'm like, do I really kind of want to do that? Because even some of my friends who are actually in the entertainment industry, who do movies and stuff, was telling me to do it, like touch on those issues, because they were like, you'll be surprised, even though some people say they exhausted by politics, they was like, some of the messages will come across and relatable, because they was like, you look at different movies and stuff come out that, like the Hunger Games, they was like, those have a lot of political messages and stuff, but it was like, look how great it did. So it was like, it just depends on how you do it. So I was like, yeah, I'll think about it. Because and since my professor said the other day, it's got me rethinking to not redraw everything that I had so far, but rewrite and kind of like maybe keep the same concept I had, but like do some of the stories over that touch on, because basically what I was going to do something not exactly on COVID, but metaphorically on COVID, racism, police brutality. I mean, everything that's going on in the immigration situation on the border, like all that stuff. I was going to tackle all that metaphorically. but we'll see. I may think about it and change my mind and actually tackle those issues.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the best part about being an author and creator, is that unless you are employed directly by somebody else's like publishing company or working with them, you really can write whatever the heck you want within bounds. Obviously you don't want to write anything harmful to society, but you can write about either, motivational things like yourself and nonfiction work, but you can also do like what you do with your adult graphic novel or what I do with my erotica. It's like, and, whatever you want to write about, you can write about, really.
Yeah, and I feel like because the part of me kind of want to do it, but at the same time, was like, should I do it? Should I? And I'm big on sending messages in whatever I do, because I always said whatever I do with my artwork or just anything in general, I want it to have meaning to it, because that's how I am as a person. So I don't want to just put something out there where it's just like like mindless entertainment or nobody get nothing from it. So that's why I think I had been struggling with it too a little bit, because I was like, I got so many things I could touch on from with everything that's going on in the world. I got so many good ideas, but I'm like, should I touch on them? Should I leave it alone? Should I? So I might actually, it may be another one of them 3 o'clock nights tonight, where I may sit up and draw or write something out where I can, because I mean, I got into either way I go. The motivational and health books, that's something different. But the comic book that I was doing, that it'll be in 2023 when I debuted at Comic-Con. But I'm gonna see. I don't know. I may change my mind and tackle those issues, because a lot of people seem to want me to do it anyway. So we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, I might do conventions, because there is like Exotica. There is totally a
oh yeah, you definitely should.
Yeah, I might go to it. It is in Miami, and then there's one in Vegas. So I was like, maybe I could do my launch party and like a few signings down there while that was going on. But that would be an insane freaking week for me. So like, I don't know if I should take multiple trips around. Maybe I'll just do multiple trips. But
Well, what
yeah,
I would suggest, since you're a newly published author too, is to, if you can and when you can, try to get as much exposure as you can by getting your book out there. Because the more you expose your book, the more people will, read it and, like you're saying, relate to it and pass it on. Because that's what I plan on doing. Maybe not with this first book right now, because how everything has happened in the last few months with you know monkeypox and all that stuff. It's kind of messed me up a little bit, but not much. It's still selling, but as far as like
yeah,
me going out promoting as much as I would like to, I can't really do it right now because I'm still waiting on Barnes and Noble to see if they can actually squeeze me in since I changed the dates. But if they can, it's no big deal. I mean, I promote on social media, so what I'm gonna do the first of the year is with the next one, and even the first one I came out with, I'll do both and just kind of get my name out there.
yeah. I mean, I'm trying to see what I can do. It's been like crazy just because everything got shifted so late. But you know firsthand because you experienced quite literally almost the same thing with COVID delaying your in-person party plans. I've actually we are not the only two people that I've discussed this with, and it's happened to a lot of us. But on the bright side, I think there is a future where we'll be fine. We will definitely be able to have them once, as long as everyone's careful and like healthy. It's, that's fine. It's just unfortunate that everything did unfold the way it did the past 2 years. But now creators, we're coming back out of our shell and we're kicking butt.
Yeah, and then another thing too, one of the ladies at Barnes and Noble suggested to me too that she was like, if we can't find a slot for you, she said, if you want to do it, she said, I don't know if you want to do it, but she was like, there's a possibility maybe you can do like a virtual book release party. And I was like, well, yeah, I could do that because I know during COVID, a lot of authors were doing that. The only downside to that is, even though I still can connect with a lot of people online, I prefer to be there in person because I feel like, yeah, you can reach a lot of people doing it on video, but it's just something about that in-person connection I feel like is a little bit more genuine than doing it through a virtual
Oh yeah,
portal.
it's a lot more personal, and it's so nice to actually be able to like talk to your fans and get feedback and get praise and compliments. Like, it's such a good opportunity to network and then, sometimes meet other authors. Like, I've met a few in my own space, which has been so instructive and helpful in me creating my own work.
Right.
So I agree with you fully that it's just a lovely way to interact with multiple people at the same time while advertising and marketing your work.
Yeah, so I may do that because I'm going to follow with them. They all supposed to call me back this week anyway to let me know what they can change it to, because most of them said they're pretty much booked for the rest of the year. So even if they are booked for the rest of the year, I'm not gonna worry about it. I'm just gonna cancel the whole tour as far as like in person, and I may just do a virtual tour because most of the people on Twitter, they was in different cities that I wasn't going to, and they said they kind of wanted to know more about it, and some of them have already purchased it. But so I may do it that way for right now, and then when the next one come out, just do an in-person tour no matter what's going on, just whatever, and go from there, because I do want more people to understand why I wrote it and go more in detail about it. So and then, as you know too, us being new authors now out there competing with these established ones like Stephen King and all them, it's you definitely have to have some marketing power behind it.
It's such an interesting industry to operate in just because, yeah, like people read books home alone and people write them, but it is people oriented because you're connecting with the people that are reading your work, and whether that be through like something funny and inappropriate or something serious and motivating, like people love to consume content that speaks to them, however that may be.
Right. So yeah,
I agree with you fully.
Yeah, but I would definitely suggest that you get to, if you can, like I said, when you can, any opportunity you have to promote your book in any type of convention, festival, and if you do decide to do a book tour, do it, because all it takes is that one person to take notice of you, and before you know it, your book is selling. I mean, that's what happened to me, because like when I was retweeting my book, I noticed I was looking at my portal, and like the sales would start to increase. I was like, oh. And then and of course I posted on Facebook, and then people I know have bought it. But a lot of people that follow me on Twitter, Instagram, that also posted it on TikTok. People were sending me messages and stuff on there. But so yeah, so any way you can get the message out about your book, by all means do it, because you'll be surprised. Like you look at, like you were saying, like a 50 Shades of Grey, all of that stuff is selling simply because of people seeing it everywhere. So I say go for it.
Yeah, James did a really good job connecting with her readers, and she did start online, but eventually she did move to in-person stuff. I mean, granted, I joke that we're the most introverted, like even though you're so extroverted, like when we're writing, we're obviously alone because we're writing. And it's like one of the most introverted art forms that you could really do. But on the bright side of that, it's like once it's created, it lasts forever, which I think is how it's so, like, yeah, it may be a little introverted, but it's also people oriented, because it's a document of that period of time and like how people view life and how people view science and health and history. Like, books they're so amazing, and I'm such a little nerd, but like even as a satirical erotica author, it's still amazing to have like printed work that's gonna last forever.
Right. And that's kind of what I want to do. I want to make sure that whatever I put out there, that it's something that people get something from. I mean, it has a meaningful message and something I can be proud of. So I definitely, that's why this art thing is really bothering me, because people seem to keep requesting it. So I'm like, maybe I should do that. That seems what they want. So I do want to please them, but I also want to put something out there, like I said, that sends a message of unity, but also something that I can look back 20, 30, 40 plus years now and say, you know what, I did that. So yes, I definitely agree with you on that. So before we go, if you want to again tell them the title of your book, where they can purchase it, and what you got coming up next.
Totally. So my first book out is Disorderly Conduct, College Edition. It's currently available on ebook and audiobook, recorded by yours truly on the Disorderly Publishing website, which is just disorderlypublishing.com. There's also the pre-order print available on my website, but print will be available within the next 2 weeks on Amazon and Barnes & Noble. What's next is the rest of my series. So book 2 is already written. I'm in the proofreading stages. And then timeline-wise, I'm probably planning to write my third book this coming winter. So I'm getting it out with haste.
Hey, that's how it is when you get that juice to get on. It start going. I mean, that's how I am. That's why I've been trying to.
Momentum.
Right, because when I see how good this one's doing, and I'm looking forward to getting that first royalty check. I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna capitalize on this. I'm like, because this could be, the start of something big for me. It's especially something I always wanted to do anyway. That's what motivates me more to do it. So I'm looking the first of the year, hit the ground running, because I'm almost finished with it. I got a few little things, some ideas I'm trying to play around with, and I'm gonna take a break here soon around October and focus on it a lot more, and then see how I take off the first of 2023.
Dude, that's so exciting. Yeah, we definitely need our break, so don't forget about that. Like,
oh no, I'm gonna take some. Me and that Hennessy bottle are gonna have a lot of long conversations. But I want to thank author Jade Greene for coming on, and as always, y'all, I'll see y'all next Saturday here on DFWRadio.com.